appeared to have mental health issues. The FBI had Anchorage police pick him up. He was taken to a mental health facility. And apparently they ran in a full database run on him, no connection to any terror groups, and the Department of Defense was alerted. And the next thing you know, just 60 days later, he shows up in Fort Lauderdale on a shooting rampage, murdering a bunch of innocent people. It's shocking, it's disgraceful, and it's sad. Yet again, people who play by the rules, who live their lives, who do what it is you're supposed to do, yet again, we have to sacrifice for the lowest common denominator behavior imaginable. And that, to me, is a shame. Let's talk about being proactive in this case. Let's visit with Michele Byington. She's a U.S. Law Shield program attorney. They run active shooter drills. They're well-versed in this sort of stuff. Michele, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for being there. Your reaction to this story coming out of Fort Lauderdale?
I think it's just like anybody else's. I mean, my heart just went straight to my stomach, and my thoughts, my prayers definitely go out to those who were victimized and had to witness this horrendous tragedy, along with the families who were affected. It's just, unfortunately, it is the world that we live in where we have to deal with these disgusting human beings.
So what do we do in terms of these active shooter situations? How does the average American get to a place where they can deal with this, be prepared for this sort of stuff?
Well, unfortunately, we do need to have a plan for these sorts of scenarios because it's just become a fact of our life. The Department of Homeland Security has actually come out with a great agenda that people ought to follow if they find themselves in this scenario, and that is the run, hide, fight method. First and foremost, if you can run and get out of there, run, escape. Have a plan with your family that, hey, if something goes down in this area, hit that exit, get out of here, because if you're in one of those scenarios where there is a high casualty likelihood, then you don't want to be a target or part of that.
So does it require a formalized sort of training or anything like that? How do we do this?
No, absolutely not. It just takes sitting down with your family and having a plan of, okay, if something were to go down, run. If we're going to run, this is where we're going to go. If running is not a luxury, then hide. Specifically, if you're able to hide behind something that will withstand a bullet, so like a concrete pillar or even behind a car's engine block, that will withstand a bullet and will be much more helpful than standing behind, say, for instance, a drywall where a bullet will just penetrate right through and injure the individual on the other side. And then, of course, if you can't hide, then your only option is to fight and to attack that perpetrator like your life depends on it.
Yeah. How do you condition people? Because, look, I think even in a post-9/11 world, right, we understood, especially in the wake of the attacks of September the 11th, we had to be much more situationally aware. But it's been 15, 16 years. We tend to kind of get a little slack, and you consider the places we go that are all open: shopping malls, theaters, arenas, sporting events, airports. I mean, restaurants, right? I mean, on a given day, we have to be aware pretty much 24/7 now, don't we?
Absolutely, and a lot of people, I mean, will say, "Oh, you're just being paranoid. This doesn't happen." Turn on the dang news and you'll see every day in a big city there is a shooting that happens out in a public area. And so it's just a fact of life now that we have got to be prepared for. It's not paranoia, it's being prepared. And it's something that we need to discuss more about out in the open. I mean, it's kind of taboo to talk about these sorts of situations, but they need to be talked about. You need to talk about it around your dinner table with your children and come up with a plan of what to do. I know many people who, they walk into a restaurant, you tell the hostess where you're sitting because you do not want your back to an entrance. You want to see what's coming your way. Tell your family, if I say the word purple, that means get up and get out of here and go towards that specific exit that you have already planned to go out of if something were to happen.
There are going to be a lot of people who look at this and they say, okay, in addition to the sort of defensive things we can do we need to get serious about about everybody in the sound of my voice who is legally and financially capable of it getting trained up in the use of a firearm. Is this also vitally important as well? Is it incumbent upon all of us to take security as our own personal responsibility and a broader responsibility?
Absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have bodyguards following us around. We don't carry law enforcement officers on our back every day. And so it's on you to protect yourself and your family while out in public or perhaps even in your own home. Now, my method of choice is by carrying a firearm. And I realize lots of people are uncomfortable with firearms. And if that's not what you want to do, then don't do it. However, if you choose to carry a handgun as your main method of defense, then yes, you need to get out there and go get trained with it. Absolutely. And you may find yourself enjoying it on top of it. However, if you choose to carry a handgun, go out and get some tactical training, learn how to efficiently and effectively use that handgun so that you can keep yourself safe and your family safe if, God forbid, you are in one of these scenarios.
We do know the NRA is one of the groups out there pushing the National Concealed Carry Reciprocity Bill. So often you have states that will hobble your right as you cross that state line to come in. You can carry in one state, but you can't carry in the other. Are you down with that one as well?
Oh, I'm very down with that one as well. Correct. I mean, I'm a Texan, and so whenever I leave the safe state of Texas, unfortunately, I'm allowing myself to go unarmed because I want to be a law-abiding citizen. So when I go to Illinois, God knows I don't take my gun because I don't want to be a criminal. Yeah. However, that leaves me defenseless. And so if we could have a real discussion and some real movement on national reciprocity for handgun licenses, I think that would solve a lot of problems. I mean, if my driver's license is good in Illinois, why isn't my handgun license good?
Such a great take. All right, Michele Byington, U.S. Law Shield program attorney. U.S. Law Shield, by the way, conducts active shooter workshops worldwide. Have you got a website where people can get more information on the sort of stuff you're doing?
Check out uslawshield.com.
uslawshield.com. Thanks so much. We appreciate you coming by, and tough circumstances, but we look forward to visiting with you throughout the year.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Take care. That's Michele Byington. Lot to think about there.